I have to speak up occasionally. So here we go. Here we go here. All right. We are on. And we're going to start off with a cube. We're going to make a little space cargo ship. Huzzah. We're going to start off with a cube. We're not going to delete it like we do in Blender. All right. It's going to start off with just a plain Jane cube. And also, one other thing about 3D Coat is you can customize a room. I actually have it pre-customized right here. But if you go to Customize UI right here, you see where my cursor is, you see all the dearth of options that we're not going to use all those right now. So I'm going to hit Stop Customizing. Also, you can, if you see those little dots, you can drag and reorder and all that, and you can nest things too and unnest them with those three dots just with drag and drop. Just wanted to run over that really quick. We're going to hit Stop Customizing right now. And I'm going to take this thing, call it hull. This will be the hull of our little ship. It'll be a cargo starship. We're going to give it a quick subdivide too. Subdivide right here under entire mesh. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically use the select tool right here. And also you can use the space bar too. I've actually already pre-done that. You know, I got select and all that. I'm actually going to switch to that, and I'm going to hit the tab key. That way I can get everything kind of out of the way. And I'm going to use select right here. And he'll select faces, not lines. And we're going to select these. We're going to make the neck. We're going to do that by using the Smart Extrude. Now, I got to get back to its settings, so I have to use tab. So, yeah, we're going to try multi as soon as I get to it. Want to extrude along the normal? We're going to go to multi-extrude, and that's definitely not what we want. We're going to back up. You hold down Alt and the right mouse button to zoom in and out in 3D Coat, just so everybody's aware. Now this little pyramid, I'm going to see if I can make that work. I'm going to lengthen it a bit. Not that. There's length. And we're going to hit the commit extrusion right here. Now I'm going to try a different shape until I see something that kind of works. That might. Let's check the others. Concave. Actually, we're going to use that here. Perfect. All right. Now, the sinusoid. Let's see if we can pinch that shut. Not quite, but what we can do, since this is a preset, we can go to the curve. I want to kind of give it a closed point, and voila, after dragging that point down, that's exactly what we have. And something just broke. Lovely. Cancel. We're going to do undo for a couple times and see what went wrong. Or no, we're going to go right back to select. And we're going to select this. I'm holding down the shift key and whoops. And just selecting faces. We're doing it the old-fashioned way. Just bear with me. And we're going to go back to select extrude. Okay, awesome. And we're going to see about closing that this time. It's actually pretty well closed anyway. We're going to tweak this. No, we're definitely going to keep it rounded like that. And we're going to hit OK and commit. Now we're done with that part. But now we're going to do the responsible thing and actually segment that. What we're going to do is we're going to use polygroups, and we need to do a line select. Now it's been a minute since I've done this, so just bear with me. You just hit 1 and hit L, and we're going to do a loop. And there should be a separate on the right click menu. Let me take a look here. I'm going to do split edge and see if that actually does what I'm, yeah, it did. All right, cool. Now I'm going to make a new poly group, and we're going to call it neck. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to select these here. We're going to do face select. I'm going to go over top. I'm going to use the E key. That's kind of a selector, and you use that. I've got all that selected. I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard. That'll select all that. Now what I'm going to do, you look where my mouse pointer is on the right. You have a little arrow. What that'll do is it'll take the select polygons and move them into the poly group for neck. I just have to have neck selected. There we go. Now it's in the right group. Now we're going to do one further. And we're going to have, you know, basically head or canopy or we'll call it cockpit or bridge. We'll call it bridge. I've been watching way too much Trek. All right, we're going to go back to the neck. And actually we're going to go back to line select, hit this here, and hit L. And we're going to hit split, I do believe. Split edge. There we go. It's actually looking nice and colorful. Trust me, you really want to do this. Just saying. All right. And we're going to go back to face select. And we'll see if it'll actually let me do this with the plus key. Yeah, it will. You just tap the plus key a bunch. It actually ignores the other edge. And we're going to hit for the head. I guess it's the old and boring block out before it looks cool. And we're going to go to the hull. And we're going to do this on one side. I promise it'll make sense. And we're going to do a quick smart extrude. And we're going to do a basic one instead of the multi. So simple along the normal. And this is just going to be its own thing. I'm going to hit commit extrusion. Hopefully it plays nice with me. There we go. And we're going to go back to select and select a line. We're going to hit L again. Actually, yep, and we're going to do that. And hopefully, well, I guess it won't quite do that for me, but oh well. We'll do it the other way. All right, we're going to face select. There we go. And what I'm going to do, and hopefully this works. I actually haven't tried anything this deep, but we're going to make it a group that's cargo struts. And we're going to add to that poly group. Now I'm going to try something kind of early. This is actually something I haven't quite tried. We'll see how symmetry works to see if we can symmetrize this. And I guess I'll save it really quick. We'll do Z. Yeah, there we go. And it will. So we're safe that way. So I'm going to disable this because I'm going to keep modeling and keep doing poly groups. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to go back to the struts. And we're going to select these again. Let's make sure we got the select tool. And yeah, this is looking pretty boring. But it'll get there. Trust me. All right, we're going to go back to a quick smart extrude. Again. And this time, though, we're going to try going up and down. Okay, it's not going to play nice with me. Hang on. Right click. And there you go. And it resizes. There we go. Now extrude. And I'm going to hit commit. I'm going to do another one. We're going to be a little crazy with it. We're going to pull this in and see if it'll let me move it down. Yep. Perfect, as a wise one once said. Now we're going to hit commit. Now we're going to go back to the symmetry trick. I'm going to select the hull just to be safe. And we're going to symmetrize it on the z-axis. So I've got symmetry enabled. Now if I'm sculpting in one of the other rooms, I'm going to have this on all the time, but you get all kinds of trouble in the retopo room and the modeling room if you have it on all the time. You'll hit wrong symmetry side, left and right. You pull your hair out. I mean, it's a mess. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go, I do believe it's in mesh. And there should be apply symmetry to all layers. We're going to want to hit that because we have so many. So it's hit. So now when I turn off symmetry, we've got everything. And granted, yeah, this is the block out, but you know what? This is a ship that has cargo, it's got a hull, it's got a neck, it's got a fuselage, and that's it. Yeah, that's trouble. One thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to see about making the hull a little bigger, maybe. No, actually, we're going to leave it as maybe slightly bigger. Now, for selecting here, you hit ignore back faces. If you want to do, let's say if I just want to do the top and not, otherwise it'll select the bottom. It'll select through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically make sure I got select on. There we go. And I'm going to do a quick select on those. And I'm going to see what happens if I do a select move just for, or select transform just for fun. Actually, that's perfect. I might do a brief extrude, but let's see. Yeah, we don't want that. No. We'll handle that in a minute. But, okay. I'm going to do a reselect on that. And I'm going to this time hit ignore back faces. I'm just going to work with the top of the hull. This is kind of your styling a little bit. That's selected. We're going to go back to, say it with me now, the smart extrude. I'm going to do something simple because we're just going for almost subtlety. There we go. And since I don't want it to look completely boring, I'm going to see if I can use this to inset it just slightly and then go down. Easy. There we go. Now you can do subtle changes like this in geometry simply because, well, you don't want to do this in sculpt mode. Otherwise, it's going to be lots of trouble trying to retopo this. And yeah, I guess I'm kind of out of order. I could really do some of the styling a little later, but I just couldn't resist. All right, we missed that. I guess you can select with that. Whoops. I'm going to go down and this way. And we'll do something similar. Like commit. Yeah, insets kind of look cool. All right, we're gonna hit commit and hit Control D to deselect. Now, like I said, we've got a hull, we've got a bridge, we've got 2 cargo pods, and no engine. Whoops. So what I'm gonna do, actually before I do that, let me fix these. Hopefully the 3D code will play nice with me. I'm going to see about separating the both of these. And so we're going to go back to select. And we're going to hit line. And we're going to do L. And just make sure it went all the way through. And we're going to do split. If I can find split. There, split edge. I'm going to see, just to avoid grief, will it copy that over? Yeah, well, so I'm not going to worry about that. What I am going to do, we'll actually do a sim copy now. And we're going to do apply to all layers. Uh-oh. Okay. We're going to hold off on that, because I think it's copying the wrong way. Yeah, it is copying the wrong way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just manually. You got to be careful with that. Just saying. Now, symmetry. Okay, cool. Okay. Brain's not working. Give me a minute. All layers. There we go. Okay. Whew. All right, got that done. I'll turn symmetry off for a minute because we're not going to need it right here. No, actually, strike that. It still didn't do it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make another layer and make cargo bays. And we're going to take the struts and we're going to select them. And here too. Let's see if it plays nice. There we go. And we're going to assign these to their own polygroup over to cargo bays. There we go. Now, if I turn symmetry off, does it go nuts? It doesn't, because it's already done. Okay, fine. We're going to go back to the hull. Make sure ignore back faces is on. And we're going to select these here. I'm just going to go whole from the back. And we're going to do this kind of the rough way here. Because unfortunately, Coat does not let me bend a smart extrude that's a multi-extrude, so we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. So what you do is you extrude up. Let's see if it'll let me move. It probably won't, but I'll try. Nope. No. Definitely not. Okay. We're going to have to commit. Okay, this kind of works. We're going to do that. Okay, they're going to adjust that slightly. We're going to have to bounce back and forth. This could be interesting. And we're going to go back to extrude. Up a little more. Transform. This might be a little weird looking, but oh well, I don't care. One more. And we're actually going to check and make sure it's a nice... We'll see about -90 maybe? Let's see what happens if I hit that. Nope, wrong axis. Oh, no. No, no, no. Okay, that's position. No wonder I'm having trouble. Let's see if we can go to rotate. There we go. Let's pull this to -90 just for fun. Nope. So I'm kind of guessing right now. Let's put that to 0. No. That's position. It still insists on me doing position. Ugh. Rotate. Yeah, it keeps going back. All right, we're just going to have to go with it. We'll just eyeball it at this point. One more extrude, I think, before we go a little nuts. There we go. All right, that looks good enough. We're going to do one big neck extrusion. All right, and we're going to hit commit. And you guessed it, we are going to split this one. We're going to hit Control D for clean select. L really quick. Hopefully it crosses the loop. It doesn't. So we're going to work with it. We're going to hold down Shift, and it should know. It didn't chase it. Wrong way. Okay. Just hold down Shift. Grateful that it's small. The undo button does save your life. All right, and we're going to split it. Basically work with small stuff first is what we're doing. So split. And we're going to do a quick select here. Faces. And we're going to put plus one more time because we don't want to hit the engines right in front. And we forgot to put ignore back, turn back, ignore back faces off. Whoops. Yeah, that's why we use the plus key. Okay. One other thing. Always press the 5 key on number pad to go in ortho to make sure your selections are accurate. I'm so sorry I didn't mention that earlier, but yeah. Whoops. All right, now that that's selected, we'll actually make a new poly group called engine neck. And it would help if I let go of the shift key. But there we go. Engine neck. And we'll actually undo to get my selection back. Go to the hull group. And just add selection to this poly group. There we go. And we've got one more part, and that's the engine. We're going to hit it, turn ignore back faces back on. We're going to select these. And we're going to do another smart extrude. Sudden you discover things go wrong. All right, there's engine. And it's not separated yet, so we're going to take care of it. Let's try again. Faces. And send to engine. There we go, that actually worked. Now, I'm going to try to resize that. That worked actually better. Okay. There's the problem. It's moving everything out of place. There it is. Okay. We're going to try something else. There should be a transform control right here. If I can find it. That is the constant battle with 3D Coat. All right, let's see what it does. Does it actually hold on to the geo underneath? It does. That was a close one. All right. Proof positive. Everybody has to learn. Let's pull this up slightly. There we go. Beautiful. Pull this out just a little more. There we go. Well, that could have been messy, or messier. Now we're going to grab the front of this and kind of do the ram scoop kind of thing. We're going to use select, and there we go. And we're going to see if it insets nicely. Inset should be right by bevel. Or I could just use smart extrude, but I'm not feeling it. There's inset. It already knows my mind. Well, that kind of works. We're going to smart extrude in and see what... Oh, we're not. Ignore back faces again. So yeah, again, that is the big struggle with this, is it doesn't do that automatically. It doesn't know what you're thinking. Okay. We're going to go back to select. Okay. Ignore those back faces. There we go. Ignore back faces, ortho, those are your big things. Again. Okay, we're going to do this the hard way. I'm just going to try smart extrude. It might be a little cleaner. We'll see. Or not. Although I kind of like that look. We'll leave it. Or at least make it subtle. Now we're going to go for inset and see what it looks like. Yeah, it looks a little messy. I don't think we're going to do that. Maybe really subtle. And then we're going to push it in. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Well, we could always add that in post. I got another idea for that. Now, I'll add that at another point. I got an idea. Okay, we're going to grab the back. It doesn't like that angle, does it? Okay, it grabbed something. It's also a good idea to keep this relatively low poly. I know it's ugly, but it is what it is. And that was a bad idea. Let's try transform and gently taper this in. Perfect. Yeah, we'll add warp details and all that later. One thing I am going to want to do Actually, I'm also going to want to check a couple things. Actually, ran out of music. I need to start my little playlist up again. There we go. And I'm going to finally do my first subdivide. We're going to grab the engine neck. I'm not only going to subdivide it, I might smooth it. We'll do something else first. We'll do a quick relax on that, just to get everything evenly spaced. First of all, I have to select everything. Relax might a little more evenly space things. We'll give that a go. Much better. We'll do one more. And one more while we're at it. And that actually gets it a little more even. Looks like I might have caused problems with the top though, and the other, so this is going to be fun. So I might do this to the whole mesh. Ruh-roh. Because it might work, or it might not. We don't know. All right, let's do some relax. And one more. And what do we have here? Actually, it kind of looks cooler, not gonna lie. Yeah, we're gonna get into high poly modeling pretty quick. Or higher. We're actually gonna do a smooth. Okay, yeah. That was a bad idea. Make sure the whole mesh is selected. We're just going to do a smooth on each, in this case. Select that, do a quick smooth. And they seem to be holding together nicely. So we're good that way. Let's select the hull. Yes, it looks prettier, smoother. We're also going to do some nice tricks with it. Okay, that was the neck. We don't need that. Let's check the bays. Let's hope they play nice with me. Nope. Cargo bays. And we're going to do a quick shift select to see if it gets the other ones. And then plus. Now we're talking. We're going to do a quick smooth on those. And the struts. Need to get in close because these are tricky. Again with select. Oh. No, struts are selected. Yeah. Try again. We're getting really close. Okay, and once again, we need to not ignore back faces now. A little more. All right. Yeah, you can double click and hit shift apparently. Okay, we got a little problem. Looks like the sim copy didn't copy over from the struts. So let's give that a go and make sure. Oh, that's why. Well, we're kind of out of alignment a little bit. Well, we'll try to weather this. We're going to try something else. I got an idea. Oh, wait, no. We're going to do this the hard way. I think the relax did it. Let's run it on that and see if it does the same behavior. And not quite. We'll do a quick smooth on it just cause. It may not be perfect, but I mean, this is, yeah. Actually, maybe it got subdivided. Let's sub it really quick. Okay, that makes a little more sense. That's actually out a couple of rings. There's actually something else we're going to try here called a split ring. Just let me get to it. Should still be here. There we go. We're going to add a couple split rings up here to make these look similar to each other. And it'll kind of work. We're going to go back into select and we're going to do this the hard way. For some reason there was issues with symmetry, so here we are. And it doesn't want to respect that they're separate. That actually really shouldn't be that way. Well, we'll do it the hard way. Okay. All right, that fixed that. Now we got to undo these. Probably something I didn't catch while I was doing this. Like I said, 3D modeling, I just said it was doable. I didn't say it was easy. We're going to smooth these two really quick. Hopefully it cooperates with me. All right, that's close enough. Now on to the hull. It needs a quick smoothing. And the good news is it looks like it's keeping the polygons consistent. We just got to take care of the neck. I'm going to smooth that. Okay, perfect. And now the bridge. All right, there we go. One thing I am going to do artistically with the bridge while I'm sitting here, we're going to see if we can inset it. Just these, perfect. We're going to go to inset. This takes me a second to find it. That is the challenge with 3D code, is finding even once you've done all that. Once you've actually cleaned it up, you still have to deal with it. Or I could just do smart extrude. There's inset, actually, it's buried in it. I forgot about that. Alright, yeah, it really doesn't want to play nice with me. Okay. Yeah, that actually seems to be a little more problem than it's worth. Let's go back to smart extrude. Much better. And we're going to give the engine one good smooth, too. It looks like it needs it. Hopefully it'll actually only stay restricted to that poly group. I don't know why it was doing that. Now it is actually, one thing I do recommend is saving your work as different versions. I'm just going a little faster because I'm teaching, so I give it a little bit of a relax and see what that does. That didn't do anything good for it. So smooth. Now, the fun stuff. Finally, we're going to start bending things and using 3D Code's soft select. It really is where the fun starts. So we're going to go to vertices. Now we're going to show you soft select. I'm going to hit 10x. And now what happens, let's say when you want to move it. Now this may work, this may be cool, this may not be cool, but it does let it bend it, but it's also disconnecting it from everybody else. Lovely. Well, that could be a problem. All right, we're going to keep this a little smaller then. Okay. Unamas. Yeah, that's not doing me any favors. Neither is that. I'll have soft select on, that would help. We're going to actually reset the axis. Let's try it. That seems to really kind of compromise how that's lined up, so we're going to try a different strategy here. All gizmos. There we go. The fat one kind of reminds me of the NCC 1701D, just saying. Now we're going to do another select on top and we'll see what we can do with it. And yes, it's going to have an organic look when I'm done with it. Looks like we got a little inset. Let's have a look at this and make sure we're in good shape. Nope. Okay, that we can't help. I think we're just going to stylize it, if I can. I'm going to take this little problem and make it work for me. We're going to punch that in a little bit using Smart Extrude. Gently. Unless it doesn't want to cooperate with me at that point. There's nothing I can do. All right, let's try again. All right. Now, one thing we might want to do, as we're doing this sort of thing, is eventually start marking UV seams. That'll make this easier to texture. And it's slow and it's boring, but you know. Or see if the L button works in this case, kinda. Nope. So we're going to use the Shift key. Sometimes it's nice because you can actually highlight it and double click, or single click in that case. There we go. And it'll help me outline this. What we're going to do I'm actually going to mark this as sharp, and I'm also going to mark it as a UV seam. What that'll do is when it's kind of UV mapping a little bit as I go. It sounds boring, but this is where you tell Coat where you want your textures. And we're going to get there. Assuming 3D Coat doesn't panic. My axis got switched off. Lovely. And just part of 3D is just learning to deal with adversity. Use the mouse wheel to pan, and use right mouse button to zoom in and out. And actually Alt and the left mouse button to rotate. Now we're going to set that as sharp, and then set it as a seam. All right, hopefully that played nice with me. We'll see. Let's see. Yeah, that I'm going to deal with in the paint room to add decals for the engines. I don't want to do that here. Let's select the head. Or the bridge. And I'm going to try another soft select. Yeah, we've been going on for an hour so far. All right, and that was not, there we go. Need to select faces. See, I don't want this thing to look flat. Not completely flat, anyway. And we're going to go right into select. Go into the dots there and hit soft select. And we have to do that over again because, again, ignore the back faces, please. Una más. Going to keep it a little more narrow this time. And it is symmetrical. We got that working for us. We're going to hit 10x. Actually, no, we'll try 5 just to chill it out a little bit. And we're going to go to move transform and see what happens if I lift it. There we go. Instant canopy. We're going to give it a little more. That's a little too much. Now we're probably going to want to stitch a canopy in there, so we're going to have to mark those seams if we can. I think it's a good idea. So back to select. And we are definitely going to want to ignore back faces. And that worked beautifully. And that didn't. And we'll mark seams anyway. So you can kind of do your UV mapping as you go, which is kind of nice. Basically makes the process a little less painful later. Good news about 3D code is it doesn't need perfect UVs. That's one thing it has going for it. But it's nice to have good ones. Otherwise, we'll have to use auto UV, and that was an awful mess. Let's see what I can do with this. Yeah, this definitely didn't look the way I planned, but that's okay. We'll leave that. See if it'll let me set it as an island. I don't think I was referring to UV shell, but let's find out. Nope. No. Let's convert that to edges. Deselect everything in the middle. And then we're going to make seams out of these. Ah. There we go. Yeah, I hate it when all my selections just disappear on me. That little stubborn one right there. And yeah, sadly there's no one in here, but oh well. And now it's panicking. And set seams. There we go. And we're going to do the same over here. Actually, we'll do it with the edges instead. And I can't quite convince it, can I? Alright, we'll do this a slow, lame way. I'm fine. Alright. And set seams. There we go. So we got cockpit. We got... And do I really want to intrude them? Honestly, I think I'll leave them as is. Actually, no, I'll intrude them. Why not? Yeah, we'll do details on that in the paint room. I want to give us a little less symmetry down here. I got an idea. Okay, let's go in a little closer. Okay, that's perfect. And we're going to do this softly. Then hop over to move. And we're going to give it a little bit of a bulge that way. Just kind of Enterprise-ish. And you know, I think we're going to conclude the block out. But... We're going to check the UV room and see how we're doing. Let's see if it'll play nice with me or if I have to bake it. Yep, I've got to bake it. Whoops, wrong room. Back to modeling. And let's see if it'll let me bake. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit minimal. I might start the texturing maybe. Let's get going. But yeah, there's your cargo ship. It's got engines. It's got a little weird exhaust port. I don't know. That kind of became an accident. And it's got a little canopy area. I don't know. Was going for Enterprise. It's not going to make it. All right. I'm going to save a different version. And we're just going to call this the pre-bake. Move the chat window over here. There we go. Sadly, no one came. That's okay. And we're going to hit bake and bake along normals and hope it plays nice with me, because it can be a little tricky. We're going to get this for Unreal, because I actually eventually want to put it there. And we definitely, yeah, we're going to hit keep UV. Even if it's a mess, I want it to be done the way I want to do it. Let's see, did the bake take? It looks like it. And yeah, we got stretching and all that. The struts are fine. This is a problem. This is a big problem. This is also a little problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. Yeesh. Okay, this is going to be not so easy. Okay. All right, we're going to do loops. Edge loops. Where do we want the seams? That's the question. Tell you what, we're going to split this one because we're going to kind of give these like an armor plating. So we're going to start there. This rim here is basically begging for a UV seam. We're going to put that there. And here too. So that's a start. Same here. Yeah, that's the UV loop tool. And what that does is that just automatically loops, and where it's easy to make seams, it can. And hopefully this is going to be a little easier. And we just have the generic mark seams. We're gonna take the liberty on that. We're going to mark seams here, and hopefully it plays nice. Yes. So we have little smaller islands, not so much trouble. A little bit of red, we're going to take care of that in a minute. Just going to trace along the edge here. And there we go, that's taken care of. All right, and that's actually doing a lot better. Oh, what do we got here? The neck has problems. All right. Let's split that up a little bit. I'm going to give it a little bit of a split there. We really want it in the end. The end, definitely. All right, that should be a lot better. Looks like we got some artifacts. Oh boy. We'll fix those in a minute. Yeah, that one's was a little wonky on the outside. We've had stuff laid out. Okay, we're going to do this in the bottom first. Well, that's going to be a little bit of a mess, but oh well. Tell you what, we'll remove these two and kind of put them on the bottom. There we go. Well, that might be a little better. Did notice some tearing between the neck. This is going to bring us to our other tool. See, these verts aren't welded together, so we have to use the move tool. I'm going to jump to the retopo tool. We're not going to continue that. Here. Let's find move or smart retopo. There we go. Move should be in there. And we're going to select verts. And they should weld. Emphasis on should. Okay. Back up. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can find out why that doesn't want to weld. Welding is difficult in any application, be it 3D Coat or Blender. Let's try by edge. Maybe it'll play a little nicer. Nope. Okay. Well, I'm going to end this a little bit prematurely just because we're getting stuck. We've been going for about an hour. And to be honest, I'm kind of getting a bit tired. So we'll fix this. We'll UV map it next stream, to be announced. I'll probably do some basically just polish on this model. And we will get back to it at a later date. I'll announce something shortly. But you guys have a good day.